The woman who won 18 Grand Slam singles titles just dropped a chilling prediction about Alex Eala. She's building a whole new craze and bringing millions of new fans to tennis. But here's the warning that has the WTA on edge. The 21-year-old Filipina has already matched a record held by Martina Navratilova, Graf, and Monica Seles. The tennis legend didn't just praise Eala's historic DC Open victory. She highlighted something far more significant. A statistical feat that puts Eala in the company of the sport's greatest champions. Since 1990, only Navratilova, Graf, and Seles had recorded more victories through their first 13 matches against top 10 opponents. Now, Eala has joined that elite group at just 21 years old. Is Alex Eala on a trajectory to become one of the greatest of all time? The final point had been played. The trophy was in her hands, and 10,000 miles away, one of the greatest players in tennis history was watching with a single word on her lips. Amazing. Martina Navratilova, the 18-time Grand Slam singles champion who had dominated women's tennis for decades, didn't need a long speech to capture the moment. She simply posted, "Amazing, congrats, Alex!" It was a message that echoed around the world. A seal of approval from a legend who had seen generations of champions rise and fall, and who now recognized something special in the 21-year-old from Quezon City. The tennis world had been watching Eala's historic DC Open run with growing amazement. A week earlier, I had entered the tournament as a promising talent ranked number 28 in the world. She walked out as a champion, having carved a path through a field of champions that read like a who's who of women's tennis. She defeated Olympic gold medalist Zheng Qinwen, defending champion Leylah Fernandez, world number 10 Alina, four-time Grand Slam winner Naomi Osaka, and finally, world number 3 Jessica Pegula. 5 champions in 7 days, all of them fallen. The final had been a test of everything Eala had learned. Pegula had taken the first set 6-4 and was leading 1-2 in the second when rain forced a suspension. The match was postponed until Monday, giving Eala 20 hours to think about what she needed to do. When play resumed, something remarkable happened. Eala won 8 straight games, closing out the final set 6-0 and completing a comeback that left the tennis world in awe. Navratilova's immediate reaction was just the beginning of the praise. Andy Roddick, the former world number 1, offered a broader assessment of what Eala's victory meant for the sport. "Everyone in tennis should be cheering for her," he said on his Served podcast. "She's literally carrying hundreds of millions of fans to our sport and saying, 'You're diehards now. This is great for the sport.'" Rafael Nadal also joined the chorus, posting, "Congratulations, Ms. Eala. What an incredible week in Washington. A well-deserved trophy for all the hard work." But it was Navratilova's praise that carried the weight of history. The Czech-American legend had won 18 Grand Slam singles titles, 31 doubles titles, and 10 mixed doubles crowns over a 33-year career that saw her occupy the number 1 spot for 332 weeks. She had dominated the sport in a way that few players ever have, and she had just witnessed something that reminded her of the champions she had competed against. Amazing. That single word from a woman who had seen it all meant more than any long tribute. Because when Martina Navratilova calls you amazing, you know you have truly arrived. The victory at the DC Open wasn't just a title. It was a statistical statement that placed Alex Eala alongside the greatest champions in tennis history. And the numbers are staggering. Eala's victory over Jessica Pegula marked her 9th career win against a top 10 opponent. That alone is impressive for a 21-year-old. But what makes it truly remarkable is the rate at which she's achieved these victories. According to a tennis statistician, among players since 1990, only Martina Navratilova, 11, Graf, 10, and Monica Seles, 10, had recorded more wins in their first 13 matches against top 10 opponents. Eala now has 9, placing her in the same elite company as the sport's most dominant players. The comparison is staggering. Navratilova, Graf, and Seles are among the greatest players in tennis history. Navratilova won 18 Grand Slam singles titles and dominated the sport for decades. Graf won 22 major titles and is considered by many to be the greatest female player of all time. Seles, before her career was tragically interrupted, had already won 8 Grand Slams by the age of 19 and was on a trajectory to challenge Graf's records. Eala, at just 21, is keeping company with legends whose names are etched in tennis history. The numbers don't lie. Eala's 9th top 10 victory came against the world number 3 in the DC Open final. She had already defeated the reigning Wimbledon champion in Iga Swiatek, the world number 2 Elena Rybakina, world number 8 Jasmine Paolini, world number 4 Coco Gauff, and world number 10 Alina Svitolina. Her list of victims reads like a who's who of women's tennis, and she's just getting started. Martina Navratilova, the woman whose record Eala is chasing, has been watching closely. Navratilova had already analyzed the 20-year-old's game and identified the serve as the key area for improvement. She's crafty. She's a good lefty. She uses her variety nicely, Navratilova told the WTA website. I think where she can improve the most is her serve, or make it pay off more. She needs a bigger serve and bigger kick. It's a warning wrapped in praise. Navratilova didn't just compliment Eala. She identified the one piece of the puzzle that could elevate her from top 20 player to Grand Slam champion. And Eala has already proven she can learn and adapt. Her victory in Washington, where she returned from a 20-hour rain delay to blank Pegula 6-0 in the final set, was a testament to her mental fortitude. If she can improve her serve, as Navratilova suggests, there's no telling how far she can go. The statistical warning is clear. Alex Eala is not just a rising star. She's a player who is already performing at a level that only the greatest champions have achieved at her age. And if she continues on this trajectory, the tennis world may be witnessing the birth of a dynasty. And when Martina Navratilova, whose record Eala is chasing, says you have room to improve, that's not a criticism. It's a promise of what's to come. Martina Navratilova has seen generations of champions rise and fall. She's watched the sport transform from a niche pastime to a global phenomenon. And she's never seen anything quite like what Alex Eala is doing. Alex Eala, she is building a whole new craze in Southeast Asia and the Philippines, bringing more fans into tennis. The words from the 18-time Grand Slam champion came during the Wimbledon Championships, where Eala had just stunned the tennis world by reaching the 4th round. But Navratilova wasn't just talking about Eala's tennis. She was talking about something far bigger, a movement that had taken hold of an entire nation. The legend had been watching Eala's rise with growing admiration. Navratilova listed Eala as one of her 3 favorite current players to watch on the WTA Tour, alongside American teenager Iva Jovic and Polish rising star Maja Chwalinska. Alex Eala, she is building a new craze in Southeast Asia and the Philippines. She's bringing more fans into tennis, she said. The numbers backed up her assessment. At Wimbledon, Filipino fans filled the stands of the All England Club, turning the hallowed grounds into what felt like a home match for Eala. Even Eala herself was surprised. I never would have thought that at Wimbledon I would have what felt like a home crowd, she said. The Filipino community had traveled from across the UK and Europe, waving Philippine flags and chanting her name. Navratilova understood exactly what she was witnessing. The Czech-American legend, who had won 9 Wimbledon singles titles during her dominant run in the 1970s and 80s, had seen players come and go. But she recognized something special in Eala. Not just the talent, but the impact she was having on the sport's global reach. She is building a whole new craze in Southeast Asia and the Philippines, Navratilova said. The movement has only grown since Wimbledon. Eala's DC Open triumph, where she became the first Filipina to win a WTA Tour singles title, has cemented her status as a global phenomenon. Andy Roddick, the former world No. 1, captured the magnitude of her impact. She's literally carrying hundreds of millions of fans to our sport and saying, "You're diehards now. This is great for the sport." Navratilova's recognition of the Eala craze was more than just praise. It was a warning to the WTA that the sport was changing. A new generation of fans was arriving, and they were coming because of one player. Billie Jean King, another tennis legend, had also praised Eala, calling her such an inspiration for kids in the Philippines and all over the world. The tennis world had been put on notice. Eala's popularity was no longer just a story of a player from a small country making good. It was a phenomenon.
And when a legend like Navratilova says you're building a whole new craze, the sport pays attention.
As Andrea Petkovic recently observed, Eala has the inner strength to withstand anything, comparing her emotionally stable demeanor to Jannik Sinner's. The craze was real, and it was only just beginning. The praise from Martina Navratilova was immediate and effusive. But the 18-time Grand Slam champion wasn't just celebrating Alex Eala's historic DC Open triumph. She was delivering a tactical blueprint for how the Filipina could become even more dangerous. And the message was clear. The serve is the key to unlocking everything. She's crafty. She's a good lefty. She uses her variety nicely, Navratilova told the WTA website earlier in the year, analyzing the young star's game. But then came the critical observation. I think where she can improve the most is her serve, or make it pay off more. She needs a bigger serve and bigger kick. The assessment was echoed by tennis legend Greg Rusetsky, a former world number 4. The serve does need to become a weapon where she can get the first strike in after the serve, Rusetsky said on the Off Court Cuts podcast. She has the knowledge of how to mix it, but she needs a bit more accuracy and a bit more power, and that will come in time. Navratilova's analysis was even more specific after Eala's Wimbledon run. During the Wimbledon Championships, where Eala reached the 4th round, Navratilova broke down exactly what had worked against Iga Swiatek and what had failed against Jasmine Paolini. Her serve. It's too much of a puffball, the 69-year-old legend told the Tennis Channel. Swiatek didn't handle it well, but Paolini did. She was attacking the second serve. But even the first serve was like 80, 85. She can hit it 105, but she doesn't. The numbers backed up Navratilova's observation. Eala's statistical profile, while improving, still showed significant work ahead. A 63.3% first serve percentage and a 47.2% win rate on second serves. She ranked 136th on the WTA Tour in first serve percentage and had 99 double faults to just 56 aces. It was a profile that screamed untapped potential. Navratilova also pointed to Eala's left-handedness as an underutilized weapon. She needs to change her grip and use her leftiness more. She was not slicing, Navratilova said, observing that Eala was hitting most of her serves to Paolini's forehand instead of using slice to attack the backhand. The serve is where she can gain the most because she's tall enough. Her serve should be as good as, if not better than, Paolini's because Paolini is shorter, so work on that. Eala has heard the criticism, and she's working on it. I know I put a lot of effort into my serve, Eala responded after her Wimbledon run. People don't know how much effort I put into my serve. So when I go out and have a bad serving day, it's okay because I know I did my best. I know I'm trying hard, and I'm not going to let it affect me. The DC Open title, however, showed progress. Against Naomi Osaka in the semifinals, Eala's second serve produced a staggering 78.9% win rate, winning 15 of 19 points. I've said before that every game is an opportunity, especially when it's your serve, Eala said. Her service game against Osaka was a glimpse of what she can achieve as she continues to develop. What would you do if the greatest left-handed player in history gave you a tactical blueprint for greatness? For Alex Eala, the answer is clear. Keep working, keep improving, and keep proving that the serve, like everything else about her game, is a work in progress that is already paying dividends. P.S. The 18-time Grand Slam champion had delivered her verdict. The serve was the key. And as Alex Eala stepped onto the court in Washington, the tennis world was watching to see if she had taken the advice to heart. What they witnessed was nothing short of remarkable. Martina Navratilova had been direct with her assessment of Eala's game during the Wimbledon Championships. Her serve. It's too much of a puffball, she told the Tennis Channel. Swiatek didn't handle it well, but Paolini did. She was attacking the second serve, but even the first serve was like 80-85. She can hit it 105, but she doesn't. The criticism was pointed, but it was also an opportunity. Navratilova, a left-hander herself who had dominated the sport for over a decade, knew exactly what Eala needed to do. She needs to change her grip and use her leftiness more. She was not slicing. She was hitting most of her serves to Paolini's forehand. not to her backhand with a slice. Greg Rusedski, the former world number 4, echoed the sentiment. The serve does need to become a weapon where she can get the first strike in after the serve, Rusedski said on the Off Court Cuts podcast. She has the knowledge of how to mix it, but she needs a bit more accuracy and a bit more power, and that will come in time. Eala, for her part, responded to the criticism with characteristic maturity. People don't know how much effort I put into my serve, she said during her post-Wimbledon press conference. When I go out and have a bad serving day, it's okay because I know I did my best. I know I'm trying hard, and I'm not going to let it affect me. But the best response came on the court. In the DC Open final against world number 3 Jessica Pegula, Eala's serve statistics told a story of a player who had been listening. She recorded a 64.3% first serve percentage matching Pegula's 64.8%, but her first serve points won percentage was an astonishing 84.4% compared to Pegula's 56.5%. While she didn't record any aces, she committed just 3 double faults compared to Pegula's 4. Against Osaka, her second serve had produced a staggering 78.9% win rate. The numbers revealed a player whose serve, far from being a weakness, had become a weapon. What made Eala's performance even more impressive was her ability to adapt. Iga Swiatek had admitted after losing to Eala at Wimbledon that the Filipina's slow serve had thrown off her rhythm. I think it was tougher mentally for me to accept these missed returns from the slow serves, Swiatek said. It's much tougher to return a serve like that than a normal serve. Navratilova's blueprint was clear. Eala needed to turn her serve into a weapon that could win her free points. The serve is where she can gain the most, because she's tall enough. Her serve should be as good as, if not better than, Paolini's because Paolini is shorter, so work on that, Navratilova said. She also noted that Eala's slight build made it harder for her to absorb pace. She is slight of build, so it's harder for her to absorb all that pace. But I think she can beef up a little and punch up that serve. As Eala prepared for the US Open, she carried with her not just a WTA 500 title, but a tactical blueprint from the greatest left-handed player in history. So I'm learning how to handle it, she said. I do understand that I'm playing another match tomorrow, so all my attention is going to be on that. I have a day to transition, and I have, I guess, all my life to celebrate my first WTA title. What would you do if the greatest left-handed player in history gave you a tactical blueprint for greatness? For Alex Eala, the answer was simple. She would keep working, keep improving, and keep proving that the girl with ruffled socks and light-up shoes was just getting started. Because she knew that the blueprint was already working. And the best was yet to come.